All right. The Mets really need to stop doing this at inconvenient times. I was just editing our podcast, which has a story in it about Kodai Senga, but I guess most of the points still stand. Kodai Senga has now signed a 5-year, $75 million contract coming over from Japan to the New York Mets. I mean, adding this guy to the rotation, more pitching. I don't even know what to say. I'm just so tired. It's past midnight. I've been editing for a long time. So let's just start up this conversation. I'll let some of you guys take this away, but just roll the intro and I don't know. I'm so tired. All right, so Kodai Senga, we don't know how he's going to do in the majors. I think we all know at this point, all you can do is hope that the potential is reached in the major leagues. At this point, the rotation definitely looks better. As for potential, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, you add Kodai Senga into the mix. Jose Quintana is there. Carlos Carrasco is a possibility. Tyler McGill, if he stays healthy. David Peterson. But Andrew, I'll start with you. I mean, what do you got here? How do you feel about this? 5 years, $75 million.
Yeah, and I mean, if he pitches to his potential, this is only a 3-year, $45 million deal. There is an opt-out after the third year. He does have a full no-trade clause, which don't love. You know, but maybe a modified partial no-trade for especially you don't know what the hell this guy could be. Again, we're all shooting in the dark and just hoping this dart hits the bullseye. But the fact that it's less AAV than Taijuan Walker at $18 million, and this guy who has more raw upside of potentially being a frontline guy, if he it's everything right, can be a frontline starter at age 29 for $15 million a year. That's a steal. But again, we're all in the dark here. He could be, prime Daisuke with the Red Sox in like 07 and gives you 2 to 3 great years and then never does anything else. He could be Yusei Kikuchi. Like could be a reliever, it could be a starter. Like there is so much diversity in him. We're like, we don't know. He has 2 really good pitchers. We know that. Splitter and fastball. Those are his 2 best pitches. And a 2-pitch pitcher in MLB is a reliever. So if he can develop the slider and develop some other pitches, then he can become and get to that frontline potential. It'll be a steal for $15 million. But again, could also be paying $15 million as a reliever, which in this market isn't crazy. So maybe it's the benefit of like, hey, if he's a starter and he pans out, this is great AAV. If he's ends up being a reliever, it's probably the common price for a reliever. So again, we're not gonna BS. That's not who we are. We're gonna tell you the truth. We don't know much about this guy. We're all just saying, hey, the upside's great. He's better than Taijuan Walker.
I guess he is. I hope he is. If he's not, then it's gonna be a problem. Frank, it's past your bedtime. How do you feel?
Yeah, it is very past my bedtime. I was getting ready to go to bed, and then when I get a notification, I'm like, just kidding. I guess I'm not going to bed. So I think when it comes down to Senga, like we said, it's always a little tough when it's a guy that is overseas. We don't know exactly what we're going to get, but I don't normally do this, but I'm just going to have to put the faith in the Mets organization, in the front office, that they went for this guy so hard that they must really like him. They must just really like what they see and think he is going to be a frontline starter caliber guy. And if there were other organizations that were potentially offering him 7 years, whether that was the Giants or the Red Sox or other teams like that, there has to be something going on there that he is a really good pitcher. You wouldn't do this for a guy that you didn't feel too highly of. So, and also the fact the Mets already had Verlander, they already had Jose Quintana. The fact they made that huge deal with Brandon Nimmo, they still signed this contract shows you just how much they really wanted him. So I'm just going to put my faith in the Mets and hope that he does turn out to be that good. And you know what? We'll see. I do like that he does have that opt-out out of the third year, just in case. This way, like we said, you always have that window to reset after the first 3 years. And I think it's kind of one of those things where, like, if he does opt out, that means that you got 3 really good years at him, or at least his third year was absolutely amazing. So I think all in all, it definitely was good for the Mets. I didn't think they get him for 5 years. I definitely didn't think they get him for $15 million AAV, but they did. So I definitely got to, give props to them that once again, similar to some of the other contracts they've done, I've been very impressed with the numbers they've been able to pull off based off of some of the other signs. Like we just talked about with Taijuan Walker, like it seemed impossible to get this contract, but they did it. I don't know if maybe he took a discount because he really wanted to be in New York and he really wants to be in the same rotation as Verlander and Scherzer. Maybe. But I mean, I definitely am very impressed with how they were able to get it done numbers-wise.
You look at, aside from Verlander, I mean, it's $20 million or under yearly for Nimmo, Quintana, and then you also have it for Senga as well. And then also you look at the back end of your rotation, the top of it, obviously the big bucks in Verlander and Scherzer, and the back end of your rotation, they're all making under $20 million. And that's maybe a few years ago, we're like, this is crazy. But in this market, it's a steal. It really is. Now, does this open the possibility of the Mets moving Carlos Carrasco? That will be a conversation that I'm sure will go throughout the rest of the offseason. We all know that they have other starting options like Tyler McGill. We don't know if he's going to stay healthy. David Peterson, who people like, I don't know why. And I don't even know what even are other options. I'm just
Lucchesi and
Lucchesi,
Hernandez, Jose Budo still there, could be a depth option.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. I don't know. I think we're gonna have a competition for the fifth starter at the moment. We don't know if they're gonna add somebody else. We don't know if this takes them out of the running from possibly getting maybe Ross Stripling for the fifth spot. There's still some other guys you can get on a value deal. But again, this is a market that we have seen a lot of money go to starting pitchers who probably don't deserve that value. We all know we see overpays in free agency all the time. But this has definitely been taken to a bigger extreme. And I'm extremely scared to see what Rodon gets on the market. But for those of you who are watching right now, we got about 20-ish people in here. Make sure to vote on our poll. It looks like we have 18 votes already on the edition, and 100% of you guys like this edition. So it looks a little unanimous as of right now, but maybe we'll get somebody here who doesn't like it. I don't know. But for those of you in the chat, let us know what you guys think of this, what this could mean going forward, where the Mets go next. It's just another, yearly cheap deal, like under $20 million to fill in a spot. Again, Kodai Senga, we don't know what he's going to be in the major leagues, but for how high they are on him, you know what? I don't know. I used to be in the process of trusting Sandy Ball, so I guess, you know what? Epler Ball needs to be trusted, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly.
Listen, I don't know what to say at this point, but, they brought in a lot of pitching here. We saw a lot of talks about the Mets' new pitching lab they're trying to build or whatever throughout their entire system with Jeremy Hefner at the top of it. So, I'm interested to see how it works, but if it fails miserably, you're obviously going to get some backlash, but we don't know for another few months. So, any other thoughts? I don't even know what to say at this point.
We talked about the possibility of trading Carrasco, but I kind of wonder, what about the possibility of trading McGill? Because there's a guy that has more trade value. I mean, if you wanted to put him in exchange for some kind of young bat that doesn't have a crazy contract, it's something that at least could be considered now. Now you have an extra arm that's here long term. I just think you can get more back for McGill than you would for Carrasco. Something to at least ponder.
I think you get a lot more for David Peterson because he's a fantastic pitcher and people are going to really like him. But he did
YOLO.
pitch a full. He did pitch a somewhat full season last year. I think that he's healthy. He has control years. I mean, I'm sure he does have trade value. You know, whatever. But one of those guys might get dealt, or they just get stashed in AAA. And we'll see what happens. But I think that they should consider maybe getting one of the 1-year deals and not getting one-year deal to put at your 5. But I don't want it to be the level of Rick Porcello and Michael Wacha. Like guys who are relatively young, maybe in their 30s, you know, they're 28, 29, something like that. But yeah, I don't know what is really on the market there of that level of guy who has showed some quality, has showed some success. They do something well that could be in the 5 spot. I would have loved to bring back Taiwan Walk. Excuse me. Now you can see how tired I am. I would love to bring back Trevor Williams on the deal that he got with the Nationals. I would have done that in a heartbeat, especially on this market. $6.5 million is pretty much just pocket change, especially for Steve Cohen. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we all know there's that one pitcher and also hitter the next year, him. Not spelled correctly, but for those of you who wanted Kodai Senga, you got him, and at least for the next 2 years. What is it? Opt out of 2025. 3. Okay, so opt out of number 3. Full no trade clause. So if he does become one of the best pitchers in maybe if he becomes better than Jacob deGrom, because apparently everybody's better than Jacob deGrom now. Everyone hates him. At this point, you know, he's going to test the market and how the market is going, especially this year, and how much up it's going to be, especially with owners like Steve Cohen spending like he is. It'll be scary to see what he gets if he were to have that success in the major leagues, if it translates from Japan. Oh, my God. I don't know. I don't know if Tony wants to come in here, say a few words. He's on the earlier time zone than us, so he's probably a little less tired than me and Andrew and Frank and, you know, whoever is here with the voices in my head.
Yeah, we're all a facsimile of a reality.
Jesus Christ, I'm just like the fact that they do this like now just is so frustrating. Like, you couldn't have waited till the morning. Like, I mean, I don't know if they're going by, you know, time in Japan or whatever, if he's in Japan right now, but he was at the winter meetings.
You know, he's
right?
stateside. He's in the States.
Okay, so why not? Like, it has to be right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm you know what? I'm excited to see what this kid can do. Apparently he's notable as he's pretty good. So, you know what? I'm excited. I can't wait. I can't say I like the deal or hate the deal at this point. You guys can say that in the poll we have in the chat right now. But I can't really say it because, you know, we just don't really know. And I think we pretty much sound like a broken record because we just don't know. I was just editing the whole time. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry if I am complaining, but
yeah, you're 15 years old, bro. You can stay up past midnight. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, we recorded an hour and a half long podcast only a few hours ago, so you know a lot of the stuff that like we covered, it kind of got, you know, altered a little bit by this signing, but it's all good because, you know, at the end of it, we're all like, oh, you know, hopefully they sign another pitcher, hopefully they get that number 3 guy, and they did that. So they got that goal out of the way. I wonder what their next goal is. I guess it's probably finishing out the bullpen, maybe getting like another arm or 2. I guess that's what they're going to focus on next. I still think it should be some form of a full-time DH, with that's like some 1-year deal to somebody. Maybe that's something that could still wait till the very end, where they feel like they could get like a good bat for a great price on a 1-year deal. Because, like we said, the fact that they're at 421 million with all the taxes, it's like you're so far over. I mean, what's the difference now? That's why, to me, like trading Carrasco doesn't really make sense, because it's like, what's 13 million going to do when you're ready? We have a payroll of 350 million. Like, saving that 13 million does what for you? We've talked so much about, if you think you have enough pitching, you don't. So I think I'd rather just have another pitcher than free up 13 million. Unless you can give me some really, really nice young pieces, I just don't think it's worth it. I feel like you might as well have that extra arm on the team. So that's the way I would go about it, because they're just going to keep spending. I mean, and you wonder why so many owners did not want Steve Cohen to be here, why they wanted to implement the Steve Cohen tax. And it now is the Steve Cohen tax, because, last year he didn't really take advantage of it. But this year he said, you know what, watch this. And he's just gone crazy. So as a Met fan, you got to love it compared to what we had for so long.
All right, Tony. Senga is now a Met. 5 years, $75 million. What is it? Opt out after the third year. I'm so tired right now. What do you think? Correa next?
Yeah, that would be nice, huh? And maybe trade James McCann while we're at it. If we could get all those things done in one fall swoop, that'd be awesome. I mean, we just touched on it in a previously recorded stream here this afternoon, how great it would be to get him. And then just like that, it ends up happening. This is awesome because, I mean, I think it's a far more affordable deal than what, say, Chris Bassett's going to get. I think, obviously, Carlos Rodon's going to get far, far, far more. And I think the upside with Senga is that or equal to either of those guys. And at, age 29, he'll be age 30 pretty soon. But still, I think it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really awesome. Some much needed flair for this team, I think. I think the Mets haven't really hit on too many big international free agents before, so I think this is going to be awesome. And can you say Shohei in 2024? That's all, because I think Billy Epler must be Japanese or something. I don't know. He must know all the customs because he is a master of the craft.
Yeah, I just. Why did they have to? I'm just asking. Why did they have to do this now? I know. I've said it multiple times, but it's just like you couldn't have just waited till the morning.
When you got when you have him on the phone, get it done. Because you wait till the morning. Oh, look, the Texas Rangers has a shit ton of money. Get it done when you can get it done. I don't care about
that hit too close to home. Why'd you have to do that? Okay,
I did it on purpose. Fine.
So I think somebody said it in episode 1 of our podcast that will be out in the afternoon tomorrow. I do want to talk about how the Blue Jays, their second option, Kevin Kiermaier, because they couldn't get Nimmo. I mean, what a nightmare that would have been. I'm not going to lie. Just an absolute nightmare. Just... It's crazy to think.
I don't get why they were like, oh, we need a lefty bat. We have too many right-handers. I get that part of it, but you can't tell me that let's trade Teoscar Hernandez and sign Kevin Kiermaier, and now our lineup's better. It's like, no. Your defense is better, but your lineup got significantly worse. So that whole righty-lefty stuff, like I always say, just give me the best 9 players. All that other stuff really doesn't matter to me.
They're still going to trade for Brian Reynolds, and then we're going to be like, oh, okay, there you go. I trade Teoscar for Brian Reynolds.
See the Japanese in the chat too, right? You guys see that too, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
it's not just me. All right.
It's not just you.
Well, no,
people can go to Google Translate.
I don't know what you're saying, but
I'm not hype. I mean, I'm just so tired. I mean, I'm excited to see what this kid can do. I mean, from what we've heard from scouts, we just don't know what he's going to be. But you know what? Yeah, it's my team, and I will always support everything that they do, and I'm happy. Nothing but happy. Thank you, Kodai Senga. I mean, he hasn't done anything yet, but I think you can put like Senga, welcome to New York or something.
Okay, yeah.
Something like that.
this.
私たちはあなたを愛しています、スティーブ・コーエン。
Oh, that's pretty good. Thank you. So, yeah.
That means we love you, Steve Cohen. Ready?
私たちはあなたを愛しています、スティー
Jesus Christ.
ブ・コーエン。
Okay.
We do love Stevie. I mean,
Uh,
at this point, it's like I don't even know what to expect anymore. You know, like they just keep going. Like who knows what's next?
I
just
think
feel like it
Correa's
could be
next,
anything at this
folks.
point.
I really think.
I mean,
it is.
hell,
I think-
well, if Correa keeps staying out there, throw 5 years and a shit ton of money at him.
If you want hype, I mean that's where you'll get the hype. I mean, I don't care what time of the day or night or afternoon it is. You give me Carlos Correa in that's uniform. Oh man, we're gonna be excited. But who knows? We'll see.
that will be a different piece of excitement. I think
Yeah.
that would be
I mean, that's the guy.
historic. That's something that now that's like officially Steve Cohen spending fuck you money.
Yeah.
Like if
And he-
they do
He
get
hasn't
Correa.
already.
I don't know. I mean, Justin Verlander, whatever, right? And bringing back Brandon Nimmo, it's just not doing much, not really that exciting.
It's like I wonder. We talked so much last year about Steven Matz going elsewhere, like made Cohen go crazy. Like did DeGrom do the same? Where it's like Jake went to Texas and didn't give the Mets a chance. Whatever, all this stuff came out about the Mets, and I made a rage video about them, and then it's just like, oh yeah, watch this. Everybody signed.
I think it just opened up. I think it just opened up the flexibility, like just yearly. I mean, not long term, but
I think Joel Sherman says it best. Remember last year we went nuts. We signed big five guys, Scherzer, Marte, Canna, Ottavino, Escobar. We only paid $258 million for all those guys. The 6 guys we've signed so far this year, $461 million spent. If
That's
that doesn't say
fantastic.
big Steve money bucks, I don't know what will.
I
And then
used to
next year,
pray.
maybe we'll break half a billion with Ohtani and Manny next year. Who knows?
Used to pray for times like these. Oh my. All right, so how about this? The ghost fork that Senga throws. His split finger, nicknamed the ghost fork for how it disappears before reaching the plate. Ooh, scary.
Dissolves into pixie dust.
It's just in the pixie dust. I mean,
I
we got to think of a nickname. I mean,
But
we
you
can't
know
call
what?
him Godzilla.
It's actually-
It's more Hideo.
It's actually interesting that you guys talked about him potentially profiling as a reliever because when it comes to the playoffs, you can kind of put your starters in the bullpen for big games. So imagine you have Verlander give you 6 innings and you say, oh, here comes Senga with the ghost fork in the 7th, 8th. I mean, you can just do some crazy stuff if you really use all your guys all at once. So
See, this ghost fork thing. It's like this is like making me think about like what is it, Major League 2 when what's his name, Vaughn was like making what was that pitch he called, like the eliminator or whatever it was, like that. That's what that reminds me of. But that's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this ghost fork thing. But hey, man, if it's a cool pitch, it's a cool pitch.
I mean, and there's
Piss.
one
It's cool
thing that
piss.
MLB Network has said: the player comp is Kevin Gausman, and I do kind of see it.
That is
fastball
sexy if
splitter.
it is.
And I mean, remember we were so hot and heavy for Gausman last year. Maybe this is a cheaper version of Gausman. Who knows? Something just come put in the head.
This is gonna sound weird, but like we all kind of at some degree said on the first podcast earlier today, like I wasn't super warm and fuzzy and all excited about the Mets signing Verlander. And I think part of that was because we had just lost DeGrom. So just getting Verlander was like taking the lateral step to replace DeGrom. I'm feeling warm and fuzzy about seeing this Kodai Senga news. Like I'm reading all the articles as they're coming out. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm not saying he's going to be a Cy Young candidate, but like he was very highly touted and pursued by a lot of big teams. And the Mets just have blown this offseason out of the water, and it's not even over yet.
This is
So
the
when do we trade
deepest
for
we've
Corbin
seen
Burns?
them with. I mean, they're gonna do that tonight. So just,
Do that tomorrow night. Yeah, we'll say that for tomorrow night.
So Okay, so 101.
I would
I
love
don't
to
think
see
it's
that.
consistently at 101, but I heard
Occasionally, you can edit that.
I heard
Occasionally.
it's 96 to 98 regularly, and then he can touch 101 to 102. That's what I heard. So
That'd be pretty
listen.
exciting.
You got if you got control over that, you're Jacob DeGrom. You're just
And again,
because
he's a
anybody
guy
can be
that
Jacob DeGrom.
if that's his pitch mix, he fits really well with Brooks Raley, because you have a guy like Senga. If he's touching 100 from the right side, you bring in Brooks Raley from the left side doing some soft toss and funky stuff. I mean, again, it's just like
With the
it's just
gyro ball, God.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like a great change of pace for the opposing team.
I hope not. Just keep
Nope.
going. I mean, why not?
Dude,
Just
hit a half a billion.
Keep your,
Why not?
Keep
Hit
your
it.
short-term deals. Just go all in. Why not? I mean, jeez, it'd be nice to trade some of these. The useless fat on this this roster, the
So the whole
McCanns and
bench.
the Ruffs and the McNeil, but all I can say is that I mean. They just keep going and going. Like, you can't even keep up at this point. I remember the first time planning episode 1 of the podcast. I mean, most of the topics that we talked about, like, they weren't even on there. And now it's not even going to be perfectly dated when it comes out tomorrow. I mean, just they just keep going. They just go too quick.
Now we'll definitely get the podcast in under an hour, right at 60 minutes, because you could cut that entire segment out. So
Actually,
we could, but I also have some graphics that include it, so then I have to retool everything. So we're just gonna. I think most of the points stand. Oh, we do have one vote of people who don't like
Dislike
it.
it.
Someone
Probably a Phillies
doesn't
fan.
like it.
Totally a Phillies fan who likes
Um,
Taiwan Walker.
Is it a Phillies fan?
I don't know. Could be.
Correa is not needed. I mean,
Someone that can hit home runs is needed, at least.
yeah,
I wouldn't
and it
say
makes
Correa
Brett
is
Beatty
like just
expendable,
known
so,
for it,
you know.
for hitting full
Well,
on.
Beatty can't hit
dingers,
home
but-
runs if he keeps hitting the ball on the ground. So
He has
Again,
more
this
homers
was
than
this was in
Alvarez
our
right
video
now.
that came
Sure.
out, I guess technically yesterday, which did pretty well. Thank you guys for that. Trey Mancini wouldn't mind it.
1
You're
year,
adding
like we
back.
said,
Wouldn't
1
mind
year,
it.
2 year with a mutual option
not?
or something like that.
they need
Wouldn't
another.
mind it.
Regardless, they need another bat, and they need to find a way to
Yeah.
catapult James McCann and Darren Ruff into the moon. And you can take Vogelback with you. I've been. Oh, sorry, I don't want to upset Mets fan.
What happened now? What do you say?
Tony
I
just
said I
wants all
want
these fat
Vogelback.
guys. Get all these fat guys out of here.
I want Vogelback and McCann gone, but I said, I want Ruff.
Listen,
and gone. I also want
again, if you want to make a deeper bench, and I've said this already, if you want to make a deeper bench, and if that means getting rid of Vogelbach and Guillorme, so be it. You know what I mean? It just, if you want to make a deeper bench, make a deeper bench. Would I prefer to do that at the top of my head? Probably not, but whatever. If Vogelbach, I think you're gonna see. As for him, I don't think you're gonna see the guy you kind of saw towards the end of the season. Hopefully, he's fully healed from that hamstring injury. Again, he should have been put on the IL after that, and I feel like that kind of fucked him up. But because with big guys, that's a tough task to play through an injury with a big guy. I mean, yeah.
I'm sorry. Is there a bigger loser this offseason than the San Francisco Giants, per John Heyman? As the Giants were in strong on Senga, lost out to Mets. I mean, they have been.
They had a 7-year deal on the table.
They can't sign anybody. They're trying. They cannot.
They
They
have
can't.
money. No one wants to take it.
Nobody wants it.
Oh,
It's
Like
it's
most
like
Knicks
it's like
offseasons.
the
We have
Knicks.
money. Come to us. Come. No? Okay. No.
It's like the Knicks. They have money, but no one wants to take it from them. Get your
Take
Amari
our money,
Stoudemire
please.
instead of LeBron. Honestly, I'm glad Senga didn't go to the Padres. It seems like the Padres are always linked to these international players because I think they've definitely been one of the big landing spots recently for a lot of these international guys. But yeah, I mean, we saw Tamayuki Sugano the first year of Cohen. His here with the second year was that Hasung Kim. I don't know, that maybe that was the first year as well. Seiya Suzuki was another one. We saw them, they were in the mix for it, but we never really saw them go full force like this. So we'll see. Yeah, what happened to Canna, or does McNeil stay in left to keep Guillaume at second? I mean, with Nimmo back, I think it's a little bit more It's more possibility.
The everyday lineup you're used to.
Yeah, I don't, unless they want to trade some of the guys they have right now. You know, the Mets have been very stubborn to trade major league ready guys recently. I mean, it took them forever to deal J.D. Davis. Like, we knew he had to go for about a year before it actually happened. So we'll see what they do. I really hope that McCann's gone. I really hope that Ruff is gone. I hope that a lot of these guys are gone because I don't like any of them. They all suck.
I think with the way the team's assembled right now, Vientos, where is his value on the major league roster? You know what I mean? Like, where the heck are you going to put this guy? He gives you nothing on defense. Doesn't give you speed. His hitting didn't look great. I mean, and if McCann is catching, Alvarez DHing, what the heck is Vientos doing? I mean, this guy should have been traded a long time ago. We talked about it a million times, but more and more, it's just become so glaring. He's a trader.
I think they're really relying on the kids to provide that power protection for Alonso. And you know what? I'm okay with doing that. Just add a bat that is proven, that can be a stopgap before they're actually, because we saw these guys in the majors, the three of them in the majors, Alvarez, Beatty, and Vientos. They didn't really get many major league reps. So if they're just going to full on slide into, like, they were here for week 2 or whatever, you know, just sliding them in there, no experience. I mean, it's a risk, but you know, the Mets take risks all the time that we don't like. Just watched 86 Mets Game 6 on MLB Network.
MLB Network. I watched it. We were watching earlier.
What the hell happened in that game?
I don't know. Something happened.
But yeah. For those of you just joining us, Mets have signed Kodai Senga, superstar from Japan. He's 29 years old, 5 years, $75 million. And after the third year, it is a player option, and a full no trade clause. And we'll see what he does.
Yeah.
What about Conforto? I think Conforto's off the table now that Nimmo is back.
Go to the Astros,
this market.
please. Go to Houston.
Because with this market, I don't think you're not going to pay, like, what is it, $14-15 million for a guy to sit on your bench. It's just not going to happen. Like that.
Well, he'd have to take.
I mean, maybe it
spot
does,
because right now it looks like Vogelback's.
I mean, the Mets have been breaking so many records with contracts, and maybe they signed the first bench guy that makes $17 million a year or whatever. But I don't see that.
I see people on Twitter talking about Rafael Devers. It's like,
Beatty's gone if you're going to do that.
Yeah.
So, and I know they like Beatty a lot.
Trade him now, or you sign him in the offseason. So you got Machado coming too. You got Machado, Devers next year at third base.
If you want a power bat,
I just want a stopgap bat.
If you want
versatile,
a power,
I think Trey Mancini's the good guy for that. But whatever, you know.
Why did Jock Peterson really have to get the qualifying offer?
Yeah, Jock, fuck you for that, man. Like, why?
And Hunter Renfroe gets traded for a bag.
Yeah,
of
true. That
baseball.
too. I'm pissed about as well.
But we've gone for a half hour. It's 12:30. I think everybody wants to go to sleep. We've said. What
we'll continue to. We'll go for about 5 or 10 more minutes, and then we'll hop it off. We'll shorten up the stream. It was a little bit earlier that this news dropped. I think we'd be on for a little bit longer, but I got a podcast to finish up for tomorrow. I visited
Yep. Anyone
Japan
have any
with my cousin.
other last minute questions? Just anything
I'll
baseball
check
related?
Twitter if there's any interesting notes. You said the Heyman thing already.
Yeah. All right. So we have 52 votes in this chat. 96% of them like this deal. So cool. It looks like I can't do math properly right now. If it was earlier, I could. So you have 2% neutral, 2% and don't like it. So I'm going to guess that maybe those are two people who are neutral and don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't like
I love
this.
that everyone's like, yeah, and everyone's like, now Otani to the Mets confirmed.
Yeah, and I wonder if this actually does hurt Bassett or Rodon's market at all, because like we said, this wasn't like an amazing contract money wise. So I wonder if their market gets hurt at all.
I doubt it.
Thanks.
Well, I doubt Rondon. Rondon's getting $30 million. That they've already Yankees are red hot and horny for him. They're probably going to get him for $30 million plus 7 years, whatever, because the Yankees now they're realizing their little brother is becoming them. Now they're getting a little scared because now they got to start spending some money now. So I wouldn't. And the numbers have been Rodon wants 30, and the Blue Jays are in it too. They signed Kevin Kiermaier, but Ross Atkins said he's got some money, so maybe you got to battle the AL East and Bassett.
I mean, you still got some arms on the market still. I mean, we've seen a lot of pitching.
Maybe
go,
this maybe hurts like a Valdi's market. Maybe like those lower end number twos. I think it maybe hurts like the Bassett types, maybe more than not Bassett, Evaldi more than Bassett, because Bassett, you know what you're gonna get. This is still the unknown. Where like I think of what's it called? Senga's in his own kind of market. I still think Bassett gets more than Taijuan Walker. I think that's still pretty freaking clear. I think still he gets more than Walker. This is kind of like their own kind of like different part of the market. Like he's involved, but he really doesn't affect the other guys. Because like again, you know what the other guys can do. This guy is a question mark.
Yeah, I think. I mean, what do you got? You got Evaldi, Bassett, Manaea still available. Wade Miley is still available. He's a little older.
Yeah,
Syndergaard's still available. Ross Stripling is still available.
Zach Davies still out there.
God, he's gonna be there forever.
Facts.
I mean,
That's probably done.
Yarborough's still out there, right? Lorenzen is
yeah.
still out there. Some guys with some upside. I mean, next. All right.
Yeah, I don't think
Any other?
Senga's deal really affects most of the other major league pitchers that are already proven in this league that are like Bassett's. Like, I just first of all, most Japanese pitchers or international players come over with that posting fee. That wasn't the case with Senga, but still, like for a guy of his pedigree, at least from what we've heard and from his numbers in Japan, the Mets are getting a bargain. I mean, if he pitches even close to that, even if it's, let's say, a 3.5 ERA, whatever, like this is a bargain of a deal for a guy that has a crazy, crazy ceiling. And that's really because he's coming over from Japan. And we don't exactly know how it's going to translate. I don't really think it affects like the Bassetts of the world. And the Rodon's in his own echelon at this point. He's so highly pursued. So I think they'll still get their paydays.
I'm curious to see what Rodon gets. I am, because he is definitely higher. Right after the DeGroms and the Verlanders. So I mean, we'll see. I don't think he's as proven, obviously, as DeGrom or even Verlander, obviously. But he's gonna get a payday. We know he is going to, and it's probably gonna be a long-term deal because he's younger than DeGrom and Verlander. So we'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to be from the Mets, but you know what? They've surprised us before. So I don't know.
Surprise us one more time with Carlos Correa. How about that?
That would be nice. It would be nice.
It's funny. I just looked at a Braves Twitter account that like is a beat reporter, aka a fan, and all the comments are, they're going to realize this isn't a sustainable way of winning. They're just trying to outspend. It'll never work. Our model's so much better. It's like, All right, well, if you had half a brain cell and you could go to Spotrac.com, you'd be able to see that this is not only a short-term investment in all of these players right now, the money's coming off the books here very soon while the rest of the farm system develops. And guess what? Steve Cohen's still working in the hedge fund business. That money's never ending. So get used to it.
I mean, he just spent $75 million on Senga. He probably just earned back, what is it, $5 million, like in the process of them signing that. I mean, he's that fucking wealthy. So it's just gonna keep on flowing and flowing, and he's just gonna keep spending money, and hopefully we eventually win. Right? That'd be great.
Look, if your owner doesn't have a great white shark contained in formaldehyde in your mansion, I don't want to talk to you. Don't even.
Yes, sir. The damn shark.
Our owner does. So if yours doesn't, go on the other side of the street. I can't even look at you.
Listen,
I love it.
I think the elevation from the first year to the second year, and now this year. I mean, are you scared to see what 2024 upholds? I think we all know what the main target's going to be.
We know the main two.
The main two.
Ooh.
But I mean,
it's getting late. Frank got to get some bedtime, bro. He's barely keeping him alive.
All right, we're gonna call this one short, guys. If it was a little bit earlier, we probably would be live for a little bit longer. But
yeah, if you want more of us, you'll get it in the afternoon, at least an hour. So
yeah,
there's plenty more of us.
We'll tons of content coming our way. Episode 1 of the podcast tomorrow, most likely around 2 or 3 o'clock Eastern time. Follow us on TikTok for other content there. We also got videos coming out in addition to the podcast and stuff like that. New video came out today, or technically yesterday. 3 of the most underrated free agents the Mets should pursue. None of them are gone yet, so it's not outdated. So be quick. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Whenever we're live again or whatever. Jesus Christ. One more time, the Mets have signed Kodai Senga to a 5-year, $75 million contract with an opt-out after year 3. We'll see you guys next time. LFGM. Peace.